more.
But that's a great point. That's a great point, because I remember talking to them. I remember other people going and talking to them. And Jared's opinion and Donald Trump's opinion was, we don't need to know history because
don't tell
look
us
what happened in the past. In fact, they were saying they didn't even need to know about Middle East history. You know, I tried to talk to Jared about 1967 boundaries, about the 73 war, about Camp David, about, just about all of it. And the attitude remained, I don't need to know about history. Stop talking about what's been done in the past, because everybody failed. We have a new way to do it, and this has been one of the great failures of this administration, at least diplomatically, because there's so many other failures. But diplomatically, they were ignorant enough. Nay, they were stupid enough to believe that the world began on January the 20th, 2017, and didn't realize they were part of a 240-year history where policies build upon other policies, and you improve upon other work that's been done over 240 years. The best example of that, Harry Truman starts actually having to do things in 1947 to stop Soviet expansionism. And he creates the Truman Doctrine that 9 successive presidents follow, whether they're Republicans or whether they're Democrats, whether they're liberals, moderates, or conservatives. They understand that following the Truman Doctrine, they understand that leaning on NATO, they understand that all of these things that were put in place for a reason. And there was this string of continuity that ran through 9 presidencies, and it caused the Berlin Wall to collapse. And it caused the United States to prevail over the Soviet Union in the Cold War. And it created, and this is what Donald Trump will never understand, it created the American century. It laid the groundwork for a foreign policy construct that made possible not only growth in Europe and growth in Japan and growth across the planet, but exponential growth in America. That's the stupidity of his view and this American first view. Oh no, NATO may get something out of this. Oh no, we can't do a trade deal with the EU. They may. Hey, Donald, Sleepy Don, we benefit more from all of those jobs. Look at our GDP. Look at the growth of our country economically since 1945. We are the country that consistently rises exponentially. And we have done that because we've had a system in place that if you had listened to James Mattis when he tried to explain the world to you since 1945, and you got up and yelled instead because you had your alternative reality and it just didn't fit with that. We know you like Putin. We don't know why. I got to say, that's going to be one of the most fascinating things. Years from now, probably, but when we figure out why you act the way you do towards Vladimir Putin, it's really sort of shameful, Donald. You should be ashamed of yourself. But when we find out, it's going to be fascinating. But if you had just listened to what General Mattis said, what your other advisors were trying to tell you about the world since 1945, we'd be in a much better place right now. But no, you had your own ideas. You had your own ideas about North Korea. You told us we never had to worry about North Korea again. In 2018, you said, sleep well tonight. You never have to worry about North, because you were stupid enough to believe you could go over there and talk to a communist that put people through paper shredders. You were stupid enough to believe you could sit there and play apprentice with them. Well, guess what? You got used. You got made a fool of. And guess what? America is in more danger today from North Korea than ever before. You thought you could invite the Chinese over to Mar-a-Lago. and say, oh, this is good dessert. Have you ever had dessert that's this good? Isn't this fun? Oh, the cake was fabulous, President Xi. And you thought somehow you were going to win over President Xi? You followed him around like a little puppy dog. You even said on January 24th of this year, the American people, you're thinking of that cake still. You're still thinking about that cake, and you're thinking, no, it's the greatest cake I ever had. And you said on January 24th in a tweet, I don't know if you remember this, because you don't even remember the difference between World War I and World War II, but you said, the American people would like to thank President Xi. He's done such a fantastic job. And we really are grateful that he's been so transparent. You said that on January 24th, 2 days after you said the coronavirus was one person coming in from China and it was going to go away. But how could you have known, right? It was early. You only had everybody in your administration warning you about this. But you don't listen to them. Maybe you should have listened to Joe Biden, who at the same time you're praising President Xi, actually wrote an op-ed. You see, that's the thing, Donald. You create your alternative realities. The rest of us live in the real world. We can look on our Google machine today and see that Joe Biden, at the end of January, wrote an op-ed along with Ron Klain. And that op-ed said, Mr. President, we're not ready for this pandemic. We're not ready for this pandemic. You need to listen to your doctors, and you need to listen to your scientists, and you need to follow their advice, or we are in trouble.